So there's been some updates to the back end of YouTube, and in this video, I'm gonna be going through my brand new YouTube video checklist so that you can make sure you have all of the settings right when you upload a video, so you don't actually hurt your video performance and you make sure it can get the most amount of views. We're also gonna be dispelling some myths because there's a lot of bad information out there, and check out timecodes and chapters so you can skip around in the video to any parts that you want to see.
You gotta just press record.
So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is make sure you're signed into your channel that you want to upload your video on. Then go ahead and click upload video. Now from here, you can drag and drop the file that you want to upload right onto the screen. Now the cool thing is that while the video file is uploading, you can start optimizing your video right away. And one of the things you'll notice is I'm using a tool called vidIQ that's really gonna help me just streamline the optimization process. So the first thing we're gonna wanna do is our title. Now this video is about tips for content creators on work-life balance. Now this brings us to our first big idea. Catchy titles with strong keywords are key to getting viewers to click. So the cool thing is, even though I have the general topic of my YouTube video clarified, vidIQ gives me some suggestions based on AI right here, so I can quickly come up with a stronger title. And so, top YouTuber reveals best work-life balance routine for success, the real difference between grind and hustle, 5 simple tricks to instantly improve your work-life balance as a YouTuber. I like this one. And in my video, I actually do 7 tips. So that's got a great title that's locked in right there. If you also click this little dial, you can actually make a description about your video and target some keywords. We'll talk about that a little bit later, and even target the emotion that you want to hit: time, question, negativity, extreme. This might seem like we're already going pretty in depth, but your title is so important. So you really want to lock in a great title. Next up is our description. And you'll see this is actually already filled out for me because one of the things I've done is I have set default upload settings. When it comes to filling out your description, it's nice to have a lot of the heavy lifting or the skeleton already there. So you'll notice I have some prompts for myself. Enter a keyword SEO description, a call to action to a playlist, affiliate link, or sponsor here with the link. And then I've got a couple of my default links, some of my social media, a place where I'll write time codes. And if you want to do your own default upload settings, which I highly recommend, inside of YouTube Studio, go to the left side and scroll all the way down to settings. Then you can see over here, you're going to select upload defaults. And then here you can have a default title, a default description with any kind of links and things that you always want in there, maybe some reminders of places to fill out, default visibility, default advanced settings, and default monetization. Here are 3 quick tips for the description: keywords, links, and timestamps. You'll notice for my default settings, it says enter keyword and SEO description here. And my goal here is to just write a short sentence that includes keyword phrases that would let Google know what the video is about. Now, if we scroll down, vidIQ has this cool AI description generator. And if I paste my title here, I can click generate and it'll give me a few short keyword rich descriptions of what the video is about. Struggling to find balance as a YouTuber? Watch this video for 7 simple tricks to instantly improve your work-life balance and avoid burnout. Those would be searchable things that people might want to look for. So I can actually just click copy here. And if I want to front load my description, I could paste that right here. Now I have one other tip that's very important and almost nobody talks about this. You want to ask yourself the question, is there any legal disclaimers that I need to include in my YouTube description? For example, don't forget to put disclaimers for any affiliate links or for any potential liability, especially if you are in personal finance. You might say this isn't financial advice, it's just for entertainment. Or if you're a doctor, you say, again, this is for entertainment and education purposes only. Consult an actual doctor. I'm not trying to cause you any anxiety or stress here. If you're just doing YouTube for fun, you're probably okay. But if you're coming at this with a professional mindset, this is a good thing to include in your description. Now, next up, we're gonna upload a thumbnail. When it comes to the most important things, topic, title, and thumbnail are the big 3. And so you don't want to cut corners here. And I would encourage you to upload at least 1 strategic thumbnail. But what's also cool is that most channels now have the ability to do what's called test and compare. So you can ultimately upload 3 different thumbnails that YouTube will test and compare against when the video is published to find out which one gets the highest click-through rate and which one ultimately gets the most watch time. Now, next up is you can add your video to a playlist. Now, playlists are a secret weapon for boosting your YouTube channel. By organizing your videos into playlists, you can increase watch time, improve channel organization, and make it easier for viewers to find the content they are interested in. Plus, playlists can appear in search results, giving your videos more visibility. And so your options here are to select an existing playlist, which is what I'm going to do. You could also create a new playlist, a new podcast, or even a new course. YouTube gives you the ability, if your channel qualifies, to upload online courses. It's pretty cool. I'm going to click done and we'll keep moving. Now, next up is a quick yes or no answer in regards to if the video is intended for children. There was a big thing a few years ago called COPPA, which is the Children Online's Privacy Protection Act. And it's as simple as just saying, what is your intent? Is your intent for the video that it's made for kids? If yes, check yes. But if it's not actually made for kids, now this doesn't mean that kids won't watch the video. It just means, who did you intend for the video to be seen by? And if you're like, no, this video is not made for kids, then check that. Now, next, there's a drop-down window in regards to age restriction. If your video has more adult style content and is intended for viewers over 18, it actually can be of an advantage to you to just let YouTube know right up front, yes, restrict this video to viewers over 18. But if it's family friendly or ultimately available for everybody, you can just leave it checked as no, do not restrict my video to viewers of over 18 years of age. Now, next up is, does this video include paid promotion? And you could say yes or no, it does not include paid promotion. And the point here is honesty and transparency. It's crucial to be upfront with your viewers about any paid relationships with brands or sponsors. This also has to do with compliance to YouTube's rules. YouTube requires creators to disclose paid promotions, and failing to do so could lead to penalties and even video removal. Essentially, if you receive any kind of benefit, either monetary or otherwise, and you're featuring a brand or a product in the video, then you could click yes, this includes a paid promotion. And actually, this video does. I was doing a series for Rode, just using a Rode microphone that I love. And so it's as simple as checking the yes box. Now, this next part is one of the new updates to the back end of YouTube, and it has to do with AI generated content. AI is a massive wave and it's only going to continue to get bigger. So YouTube wants to know that in your video, did you use software to make a politician or a musician say or do something they didn't ultimately do? It's okay, because there's comedy uses for this. There might be just entertainment uses for this, but the key is the disclosure. So you would say yes if you're altering real footage or an event or a place, and maybe you're showing explosions or fire, or you're, adding extra buildings to a city or something, and it could be potentially for entertainment purposes. But if you're generating realistic scenes that didn't actually occur, and anything in AI that's related to potentially deep fakes and all this kind of stuff, they want you to disclose it. Now, in this case, I'm going to click no because it's just me in the video talking. And so that one is pretty simple. Now, next up is automatic chapters. And so we talked earlier about the power of adding time codes and chapters to a video. Just like in this video, you're able to skip around to the different sections and settings that we're talking about. Now, if you didn't add your own manual chapters to a video, potentially YouTube will do that. It doesn't mean they will if you check this box as a guarantee. It just means you're going to allow them to do that. And I, by default, pretty much leave that box checked. I've noticed that oftentimes videos that end up getting more views and Google and YouTube start to understand what the video is about, they will add their own chapters later, but I'll just leave it checked because I usually add my own, no big deal. Now, next up is featured places. This helps viewers explore key places in your videos like restaurants or shops. If you think about it on social media, when you tag locations, this is ultimately the ability to tag different locations that you may be at. It could be a city, it could be a country, things like that. And this can help with search if you can correlate your vlog or your video to a place that people may be interested in. I just leave that checked. Next up is a new feature that YouTube has added called automatic concepts. The idea here is to help viewers learn about unfamiliar terms without leaving the video. Now, I've also noticed that YouTube is even overlaying some AI descriptions when you scroll through a video, helping users and viewers define terms. I think leaving this checked is good. It's an experiment. Ultimately, YouTube wants viewers to stay on platform as long as possible and stay on your video if they're enjoying it. So it just says concepts mentioned in your video may automatically appear in your description. Again, some of these things are no big deal, just keep it moving, but I leave that box checked. Now, next up is tags. Now, let's be clear. YouTube themselves have clarified that tags do not carry that much weight in regards to your video's performance. However, my philosophy is if YouTube gives us the opportunity to optimize our videos with a feature like this, I want to use it to the max. And using a tool like vidIQ, you can do this really quickly in like less than 1 minute. And so ultimately we have up to 500 characters for our tags. And I think a big question to know the answer to is what keywords and keyword phrases is your video targeting? Like what keyword phrases could people be searching for related to the topic of your video? And so when I think about this video, I think about how to avoid burnout on YouTube is kind of like one of the big topics. And then check this out. If I click the vidIQ logo, I can now get recommended keywords related to this search. And so I can quickly add them by hitting this plus button. And if I scroll down, I might add how to avoid burnout at work. Well, that's really not what it's about, but it is kind of how YouTube burnout. There's another one. Okay, so that's recommended there. We also could see, okay, this video is maybe about content creator burnout. Okay, great. So we have that one as well. Now, vidIQ also will recommend some tags based off your title. So broadly, this video is about time management or work-life balance tips. And so I can then dig into work-life balance tips and add other ones here. Work-life balance, I could add that. Productivity tips. Now this is reinforcing just some metadata in regards to what the video is about. Now I also like to add personal brand related, search related things. And so that would be my first and last name. I would add the channel name here, Think Media. Now another one might be how to be productive on YouTube. I'll add that one. I could dive back into vidIQ here and look into, okay, time management tips, be more productive. So what I love about this is using a tool like vidIQ, you could just do this in literally like 60 seconds. Here's a few more. I could go creator burnout, mental health, avoid burnout, YouTube creator burnout, how to overcome content creator burnout, and see how quickly these could be added in. I'm already at 444 characters out of 500. I've got my personal brand name in there, my channel name, as well as some of the topics. And this is what great tags, in my opinion, look like, and that is kind of proven out in our history at Think Media as well. We've ranked a lot of videos. Now, if you actually want to try out this tool, vidiq.com/think, or I'll link to it in the description down below. You can actually get a 1-day trial of vidIQ and get a full 30 days to test it out. That is my affiliate link if you end up using that, but it's something I've been using for years. And this is one of the reasons. You can see how quickly you can optimize your YouTube video with this tool. And so it's super valuable. Check out link in the description down below if you want. But let's jump into the next optimization feature. Next up is language and caption certification. By default, it should pick your video language. I'm speaking English in the video, and this content is never aired on television in the United States. And so I just leave that selected. Next up is the recording date and location. If you want to add when your video was recorded, not uploaded, you might be uploading it months later, but you want to kind of have a log, you can select the recording date, and then you also can add a location. Maybe it's less relevant to what the video is about, but again, for organization purposes. Next up is the license and distribution. The standard YouTube license kind of has to do in regards to your protections. Now, if you want to go Creative Commons, that would then basically allow your video to be used and repurposed by other people. Sometimes people will do that anyways under fair use, but Creative Commons is more of like a collaborative license that would be you saying, hey, remix this, use this, and sort of telling people to do so. Now, next up, we have two boxes that are typically checked by default. The first is allow embedding. This is just allowing permission for other people to grab a link of your video and post it in the middle of their blog. If you don't check this box, then they wouldn't be able to do that. And then the next one is publish to subscriptions feed and notify subscribers. Now, this box has actually stirred quite a bit of debate amongst creators. Some creators believe that unchecking this box can trick the algorithm into thinking your video is performing exceptionally well with a small audience. While most experienced creators recommend keeping the notify subscribers box checked, This ensures that your loyal audience gets notified and can help boost your video's initial performance. Ultimately, going deep on this conversation is a topic for another time, but personally, I leave the box checked. Next up is Shorts remixing. If you want to allow others to create shorts using content from the video, just leave it checked as allow video and audio remixing. People could also use the audio remixing only. You know, sometimes there is phrases or funny things people have said that become memes and viral clips. Essentially, you would be positioning yourself for that. Chances are it may not happen, or you could just shut down remixing altogether. I do like allowing video and audio remixing because it means people maybe could just react to your video in a short, ultimately spreading your video. And I suppose it might be spread with some critique, but in some cases it might just be spread with some commentary. Personally, I allow video and audio remixing. Now, next up is category. And you can see we have auto and vehicles, comedy, education, entertainment, film and animation, gaming, how to and style, music, news and politics, nonprofit and activism, people and blogs, pets and animals, science and technology, sports, and also travel and events. That's a lot. So ultimately the goal is to pick the best one related to your video. Now for this video about 7 simple tricks to instantly improve your work-life balance as a YouTuber, ultimately this would fit in education. It also could fit in how to and style. And I suppose it also could fit in people and blogs. Ultimately, Think Media is an education channel, and subscribe if you're new here. It's all about helping you learn how YouTube works and also find the best camera and learn how to use the best camera and other tools for creating great content. And so I'm gonna select education and move on. Now there is a little bit deeper you can go if you select education in regards to saying that it's tips or a science experiment or a lecture or how to, and a lot of our content would fall into that. And then you can reinforce some of the problems that are answered. This is like a deeper dive of time codes and chapters. And there could be some utility if you really want to define what grade level is your content. Is there any exams related to it? Really, by saying education, you're talking about kind of formal education structure and adding some metadata around that. Now, that's not something that I'm gonna take the time to do, but that's something you could explore later if you too are doing education content. Now, next up is your comments and ratings. And so you could choose if you want to show comments. Certainly you could just turn them off. You also can turn them on and decide how strict you want your comment moderation. Ultimately, when you have comment moderation turned on to any higher level than none, it basically just holds potentially inappropriate comments without them being instantly posted publicly. You can then go in manually if you want to filter through them and approve them. You could say hold all comments, meaning you'd have to approve all of them. You could say strict, saying that it's going to be a little bit stricter in terms of the words or the, potential harmful or mean or toxic things people might say. You could go with basic or you could go with none. Personally, on Think Media, we leave it on strict, but that is entirely up to you. And then you can also sort the comments by top, meaning those that are upvoted, commented on, most engaged with, and sometimes, the most entertaining comments find their way to the top, or newest is gonna be linear. And so we go with top because we find that the most entertaining types of comments create even more engagement. Now you also have the option to show how many viewers like the video. We leave that checked, but if you didn't want that to be publicly seen, it's kind of like Instagram. I know they go back and forth, but you might see a few of the names of friends that have liked it, but you don't see the total number of likes. In this case, if you actually want to see the number, you can check that. And if you happen to be doing a fundraiser of some kind, you can create a fundraiser or join a fundraiser and attach that to your video. Well, that was a lot. Take a deep breath because we're about to go to the next phase in regards to monetization, video elements, checks, and visibility. But one other feature we need to check out. vidIQ uses AI to analyze your video and give you an optimization score so you can just be confident that you've given it your best shot and that you hit a few things. The first is a high priority category here. Your title invokes intrigue and desire. It's clear what your video is about and why the viewer should watch. Your title is easy to understand. Now, what's funny is vidIQ actually recommended the title we chose, but it is a little long. So it dinged us a few points because it says here your title isn't too long. If you're looking for best practice, 70 characters or less is the most that shows up in certain surfaces on YouTube. So if anything, even if your title's longer, you do want the most important parts of your title, keys about what the video is about, to be at the front of the title, or towards the front where viewers can read it so it doesn't get cut off. And on YouTube Shorts, you can only see 55 characters of the title. So that's kind of what has to do with title length the most. If your title can be shorter and still clear, that is ideal. And again, that's why we lost a few points. Now, there are a few low priority things. Keywords in your first 200 characters of your description, check. And we used vidIQ's quick description writing tool to come up with that opening sentence. The video has chapters. I'm going to add those later, so it will have that, which will improve the score. Has a custom thumbnail. We uploaded that, added to a playlist. We did that. And actually, we're going to be adding end screens later. So let's keep it moving on to the next step. Now, next up is going to be monetization. And once you qualify for the YouTube Partner Program with 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time in 12 months, you can turn on monetization. So I'm going to check turn on ads for the video. And then you also have a box right here to allow mid-roll ads or not. So ultimately with monetization, an ad will play before your video. That's kind of like the first thing. If you check the box for mid-roll ads, the ads will play throughout the video. And if you just allow YouTube to do it, it will optimize or predict where it thinks the ads should be placed and how many of them should be in there. And this only applies if videos are 8 minutes or longer. If they're less than 8 minutes, you can't do mid-roll ads. And then you also have the option to review placement and maybe strategically put the ads where you would want them. So let's go on to the next step here for ad suitability. You go through here to say, okay, is there any appropriate language in your video, any adult content, violence, shocking content, harmful acts, recreational drug use, dishonest behavior, hate or derogatory content, firearms, sensitive events, or controversial issues. Now, I would encourage you to not try to sneak past the system with this stuff, because ultimately you just want advertisers to be pleased with the kind of ads they may want to run on your video. Just because you have firearms or because you curse in the video doesn't mean you can't have ads. The key here is transparency. And so see, it says why it's important to rate your video accurately. Pretty much everything at Think Media we do is very family friendly, so it's easy enough for us to check none of the above. And ultimately, we rate our video safe and we can submit our rating over here. And then YouTube will also scan it and quickly approve it or not. Now, next up is video elements. Here you can add any music licenses. If you happen to be using a song from some particular source that could be copywritten, but you have a license, this is where you could add that. Now, you also can add subtitles. Subtitles ultimately can be very powerful. There's kind of a myth that subtitles are only for accessibility, when the truth is, captions and subtitles provide valuable context for YouTube's algorithm, helping it understand what your video's content is about and potentially improving visibility. So that's where you could add subtitles. Now, you also can tag products. This is pretty cool. If your channel is monetized, you can use YouTube Shopping. And if you were to talk about a Canon R50 camera or something like that, you could type it in, click plus, add the product to the video, and you could earn commissions. Now, this one says 0%. That's not very good. But if I was to add this little kit here from Adorama, I could get a 4.5% commission and earn money. Now, again, I'm not just adding random products to the video. That actually would be against YouTube's terms of service. You only want to tag products that you actually feature in the video. And that's optional if you want to use YouTube Shopping. Of course, you could also put Amazon affiliate links in your description later. You also could link to other affiliate programs that may not be on YouTube Shopping in your description. And actually, if you want to learn more about all that stuff, I do have a deep dive class at thinkmasterclass.com. And so I'll link that in the show notes. You could watch that later. It's about an hour long, but there's no products in this video, so I'm not going to tag any. Now, you also can add an end screen. And what's cool is you could import from another video. So maybe you have another video in your library that you want to just pull the end screen elements that you've already added. Ultimately, you have the ability to add a video and a subscribe button, a playlist and a subscribe button, a link externally off platform, a subscribe button and a video, and you can create your own different custom setups as well. My preferred best practice is ultimately a simple video and a subscribe button oftentimes. And what you'll see is we actually have a end screen kind of baked into the video itself. And so I like also choosing best for viewer. That means YouTube is going to select a video that based on the algorithm, based on the viewer's watch history, they're most likely to watch next. And so now you can see during the last 20 seconds of the video, I've got the subscribe button to the channel, as well as a video that YouTube is going to say is best for the viewer. And my end card has that yellow arrow pointing to it. Again, I don't know why this is glitching on and off, but we're good there. And now I have added an end screen to my video. Now you can also add cards, which this is mid video. It'll pop up in the corner of the screen. And if you reference another video to watch or something like that, people can, it'll pop out and they could click it and reference that later. Now, next up is checks. And this has to do with copyright. So maybe there is some footage you use from somebody else's channel, or there's some kind of element in your video that is copywritten, or maybe there's some kind of copywritten music in your video. This is where it's going to show up and be flagged if there's any issues. Now, if you're using royalty-free music and you're using just best practices in general, the goal is to have no issues found, and that's the case here. I'm already approved with the checks with no issues. And as I mentioned earlier, this video is also already suitable for ads based on my ratings. YouTube is gonna scan what you say in your video and look at the visuals as well. Their algorithms can see different things in your video. And so maybe some stuff can slip by at times, but ultimately it is passed that test as well. So let's go on to visibility. Now, you may feel like we've been going through a marathon together, so I want to encourage you to save this video, rewatch it later as many times as you need, because ultimately, eventually this will be second nature, just like riding a bike, and mastering the YouTube best practices will help your videos perform better overall. And so finally, we are looking at visibility. This is when we get to choose when and who can see our video. And so if you leave your video as private, you could just come back later to the video. That means that even if you share the link, nobody can see it unless you send them a private link using their email and inviting them specifically to the video. You also can select Unlisted, which means you could share the link out, but it's not going to start getting distributed by the YouTube algorithm yet. If you have channel memberships, you could choose members only. And so those that are members can watch the video. And then finally, you could say public, and that would then make the video go live once it's fully uploaded. You also can set it as a premiere. And if I said publish right now, it would instantly premiere or instantly be made public. Now, one of the big myths that is perpetuated out there is that only set your video to private and then make it public, or else you're going to hurt the algorithm. If you set it as unlisted and then make it public, you might lose views. But YouTube has made it clear that if your video is unlisted and then made public, no, it's not going to hurt your video performance, because you might find it easiest to make your video unlisted, especially if you want some people to review it. Like for some reason, without having to have it private and just email to them, you just want to be like, here's the link for review. There's a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs in our Think Media community. And so maybe an editor uploads it for you and then you can watch it unlisted. The thing is, just don't stress out too much. Now, I would potentially worry about the video being public and then going back to unlisted and then maybe going back to public. You don't want to snip, snap like Michael Scott. But let me actually get to my favorite setting on this page, and that is ultimately schedule, because I like to get videos done ahead of time and then schedule them for the future. And so at the time of doing this, if I am uploading this video on a Tuesday, I could post it tomorrow, the next day. And the key is I want to actually post it at a strategic time. Now, what's cool about vidIQ is it actually tells you that based on my channel's data, the current best time to post this video would be between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. And if I click view all times, it actually shows me kind of the wave of when most of my subscribers and viewers are online. Now, I also could strategically post it at maybe 5 a.m., which is what I like to do, kind of between this 3 a.m. rise and the 6 a.m. peak, because 6 and 9 are those two peaks. So I could choose either 6 a.m. as it's recommended here, but my go-to is usually to go a little bit ahead of the wave. So I would choose ultimately 5 a.m. and then I would click schedule. Now, one thing to note is that I did all of that right as I uploaded the video file. The video is currently scheduled, and if I want to go in and make changes, that is easy to do. I could just click the little pencil icon, and I can come into this view if I want to tweak the title, if I want to now look at my vidIQ optimization score, if there is anything I want to review in regards to when my viewers are online or what the details are. And so I'm actually going to switch it. I had it on members only to public. I'm going to switch it to public. And so now it'll ultimately be saved, and I fixed that setting. And as a reminder, if you want to get that $1 trial of vidIQ, you can go to vidiq.com/think or use the link in the description. There's a whole bunch of other tools they have, like their AI coach and a lot of brand new AI tools to help you get more views, get more subscribers, and ultimately improve your channel. So you can check that out. But we still have a big problem to fix, because the truth is YouTube optimization settings are just one part of the overall battle for views on YouTube. The content itself is so important to optimize for maximizing views. And I found that there's a major mistake that almost every single creator makes when doing this. And I clarify how you can fix that in the video on screen. So if you want to check that out, click or tap the screen to watch that video. Smash like if you got value, save and reference this later if you want. My name is Sean Cannell, your guide to building a profitable YouTube channel, and I can't wait to connect with you in a future video.